Hi everyone. My husband to be is fully involved with AAC and Take It Back movement.
Are you?
So
So are you?
so obviously
All right, there we go.
I'm into AAC and Take It Back.
Wow.
movement.
Take it back.
Take it back. Action.
It's a family affair.
Yes.
Even our born children by default.
Yes.
I think
Before, so that we don't lose sight of it. You know, it's a liberating effect of being part of a liberation movement.
yes.
You know, that's the first person that gets liberated is the person who is participating. Because you have to be liberated to be part of a liberation movement. You have to have this mental and physical liberation from whatever had been encumbrances around you. I met you, I cannot forget the night we first sat down. You said to me, you know, I went to look for a job, you know, as an immigration official. I made it, but they kicked me out. You know, he was actually one of the people who...
NIS 2000.
Yeah.
2000 immigration officers that were done, and they said they were riffraffs because they needed their slots that they usually share.
Yes.
And we were the first that came.
They
into
got
the process that
employed,
we did
but
computer
they were kicked out.
did fiscal exam.
Because they didn't have the connections.
Connections.
At the highest levels.
That's
And he told me that, you know, this is not the first sacrifice he made, because maybe he didn't. He said, I'm not looking for a job until you get a job of president. You know, so the sacrifice has been amazing, and I can't thank you enough. And, you know, you remember when we traveled to Makodi the first time, you told us, you know, you said, you just passed this whole place. They just killed 20 people there. Past places that fresh blood was still dripping on the floor. You know, when we were going back the next time, it was the same advice. You know, we came through, what is the first place we came through? When we were driving to Makodi. But when we were coming back, the advice was not to pass through the same. We passed through Kafancha. But on our way back, they said don't pass through. We were there. They said don't pass through Kafancha. We drove from Gombe. No, was it when we were coming from Gombe that they said don't pass through Kafancha? Yes. Yes. They were advised us against.
The last time I went to Kaduna, we didn't pass through. People avoid that route now. If commercial drivers avoid that, then how much more private route?
Yes. So
it's not safe.
And we traveled for, I think there was one trip we did 7 hours non-stop to get from Gombe to Abuja. 7 hours. The roads were pretty bad. We've seen this country in the color that it is in.
Yes.
We've seen this country in the condition that it's in, and it's pretty terrible. But what is amazing is that regardless of the condition of our people, they are willing to accept us, and they're all waiting for the moment the result is declared.
And excited.
Yes. You know, even the poorest people accepted us. You know, interestingly, as Malcolm will testify to, we even are hearing from some rich people at the top who are like trying to reach us, saying that, wow, your messages are pretty interesting. Probably they're also scared and trying to figure out what's going on.
They should be happy because, funny enough, I believe our liberation movement is even going to liberate their homes.
No, do you know what I said to people? If Nigeria start working today and we have good roads, I don't have the car to drive my roads. It's the rich people that will enjoy it first.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, if the roads are safe, it's the people that have the most expensive cars that will enjoy it most. You know, if our hospitals are working, it's rich people because they have more health problems than poor people.
Of course.
In some cases. It's only that there's a difference between communicable and non-communicable disease. One is for the rich, one is for the poor. You know, and so it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you,
Thank you, Rex. It's a pleasure.
And I hope you can't make me up.
I will.
All right, thank you.
Take you back.
Action.
So our VP,
The vice president is in the house.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
thank you. Welcome to
It has
Vice
always been.
president is in the house.
Dr. Rabi.
yes.
Hey, see?
Take it back.
Take it back. Action.
A lot of people are calling because of you know, don't run away yet. I'm actually going to leave you here because I have to go to the kitchen. There's something happening there that must be coordinated. So I'm going to leave you and the VP here for a little while, and I'll be back. Yes. And BJ too.
Thank you, viewers, wherever you are, and however you may be watching us from wherever. Good evening. It's been a very exciting day for us, actually. President got the only opportunity to debate. You have seen him going all over the country, performing a national service, debating. He's always been asked questions, always willing to give answers, and always willing to listen to people. And today it's as a kind of Nigeria's United Nations for us, because we've seen all our people from all over the world coming to see. I met you in person today. I saw the other who came from Geneva. I saw the German contingent representing the Take It Back movement from Europe. Malcolm from US as well.
Rex,
all over.
Rex from Benue.
From Benue. And of course a couple actually. They came. It's exciting actually. And tomorrow for me also is going to be a very important thing that I have to announce. The VOA Hausa service invited me to actually participate in a town hall meeting. So I'm looking for people also to listen, to watch, because it's going to be serialized.
Yes, Dr. Rabiu.
Yes.
I think, can you help our people understand how important, so that town hall tomorrow is by the Voice of America, but can you help our people understand the importance of radio in the North?
Yeah, it is actually, this culture of radio. At a point I thought maybe it's because some people actually can't read the papers and so on. But it turned out to be like a second nature to listen to radio. I grew up seeing some kind of correspondences my father did or had with people working with the radio in London. Our Hausa service in BBC is over 65 years. And there is a wide...
So the BBC Hausa service has been on for over 65 years?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, who listens to radio in the North? Is it only educated people, uneducated people?
Everybody. Actually.
Everybody listens.
Young and old, actually, the villagers. We take it, with our meals. And people love to listen. People ask questions. They give their feedbacks. And that's why yesterday I was also with the BBC Hausa service, where they interviewed me on quite ranging issues, actually talking about our campaigns, our debate and so on, our manifestos.
So here's the thing. Even though many of you may not be seeing or hearing these programs, Dr. Rabiu's Hausa service programs is reaching over half of the Nigerian people.
Actually. We had it also on the Deutsche Welle Hausa service. The interviewed me.
And the Deutsche Welle is a Dutch.
The
German station.
They're based in Bonn. And
so how many Hausa services are there? There's the BBC.
There's
the Voice of America.
And then there's Radio France International. RFI.
Okay.
And then they have one in Beijing, China. They have one in Iran.
All of them with the Hausa service.
All of them with the Hausa service. Wow. And BBC Hausa service is 4 bulletins in a day. And then there are special programs, and they have some special programs for the elections. And you remember they also participated in the debate. So the debate that NEDG actually didn't allow us, it's now being done by almost different media outlets. That is to say, they cannot really have the monopoly of debate in this country.
And it's interesting you say that, because when the NEDG and Bonn try to manipulate us out of those debates, what has happened as a consequence
actually
is that their monopoly over the debates just broke. Because they lost credibility.
Absolutely.
And now what is happening is a lot of credible media outlets are just they're staging their own debates.
You can't doubt actually the reputation of all these international media organizations actually. And that's what we are going to now leverage on, because they have a way of quizzing people, extracting information out of people. That's what they've been doing to the people of government. And let me tell you one thing. The reason why PDP and APC have been boycotting debates is because they have nothing to show. They have tattered records. Their history is one. They're just flipping side. The culture of defection is the in thing in those parties. And that's why I was asked yesterday if we are going to have mergers or whatever with them. I said, no, actually, we operate at different levels. We don't operate at the same frequency with them. Ours is the backing we have for the Nigerian masses, for the Nigerian people, for students, for farmers, for people actually wanting to have a better Nigeria. at heart, and that's what we come to achieve, and that's why we have done the best of the campaigns.
Absolutely.
Our manifesto is the best. The Spicer Heat is the best acronym because we spell out the 10 things that are most important to Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And each one carrying its own branches.
Yes.
And that is actually the logo of our party, meaning the healthy fingers. I love to actually make sure they say that he is also a doctor now, because 5 fingers on one hand, actually another 5 fingers on this say the Spicer Heat.
That's true.
But the other parts actually bring hands that are actually indicative of a disease, meaning the lepromatous leprosy. They are chopping their hands, and that's not what we are. Look at it. We don't have a godfather. Somebody standing actually to implant you so that at the end of the day, the corruption cycle begins.
Yes.
Meaning they will start manipulating the people in power to get contract, favoritism, patrimonialization, Coronism, all sort of evils.
Yes.
We are on our feet with the Nigerian masses lifting us. That is where we are.
Now, if anybody has questions for Rabiu, please just, where should they send them to?
The Facebook page.
Okay, so just send, if you have questions for Dr. Rabiu, the vice presidential candidate, please just send them to Facebook.
And he also has an active Facebook page.
Yeah?
Yes,
And Twitter handle.
Definitely. And you remember I was also asked about our coverage. And I told them that actually we did something unprecedented. We have the energy, the veracity, the tenacity, the passion. That's why we went every kilometer of the states we visited.
That's right.
Not the parachute campaign. You arrive at the airport, you have a hired crowd in it. Yesterday you saw people, almost cargoes of lorries taking people to Kano because Atiku Abubakar is going there. That's not what we do. We are very organic. We travel, we meet people in their farms, we greet them, we exchange ideas with them, we tell them who we are and why we are here, and you see the love, the affection that people, and that's what actually gave us a lot of energy.
Yes.
Because people think actually we are money bag. We are not. I am a doctor that and little in the month, and actually we are not actually receiving some donations from some wealthy Nigerians that will actually have their way when we come to power. That's not what we are. People even talk money. That's not the most important thing. The time, the energy, the passion, the engagement that we receive in all the cities we visited. And of course the donation. People donated cars, people donated their vehicles, people have given us actually a lot, actually food, buildings actually as to be used as our party headquarters and secretaries, and wherever we go we try to grace those buildings and greet and meet people and so on. That is the most. There was a time actually we were in Bauchi State on our way to Yankee. Some of the students I taught in university, they came running after. Actually, I didn't know they even exist in that town because ASU strike or we could not reach their campus and campaign, but they had to follow us because every town and city we've been to, they could see that, oh, that's a person I know. That has been so important.
So this is important.
And they were calling him Guru.
Yeah. So this is important. You were there, right?
I'm not
So this is important. He's talking about
learning.
Bauchi State. So look, if you're part of this movement and part of this party, what Dr. Rabiu just described was the type of reception that we got in Bauchi. This is in the northeast.
All over.
So all over the country. What we've created is an incredibly powerful movement. It is a movement that is shaking the country, that is disrupting the system, powered by nobody but you, the Nigerian people. And the only reason why we are where we are is because you've done it. I'll remind all of you again, those of you that are still on, that in the next 6 days, the elections are on the 6th. Today is Sunday. It means we only have 6 days to D-Day, the election day. So what we need you to do, if you haven't done it yet, do something we call side. Side means shoot a video, identify contacts on your phone, distribute that video, and then engage with them. So all we need you to do is do a 30-second to 45-second video. Tell people why you believe it is time for change. Tell people why you believe the AAC is the party of change. Tell people why you believe that Sowore is the candidate of true transformative change with Rabiu on the ticket. So make that video, send it to all your contacts. There's nobody that doesn't have at least 50 to 100 to 200 contacts. When they see that personal testimony from you, there's nothing more powerful than that. It's more powerful than a poster. It's more powerful than a billboard. It's more powerful than a handbill. It's a personal testimony. And it will help you with engagement. And who knows, they might even then go ahead and pass it on.
Absolutely.
For those of you who live in communities and you have other Take It Backers that are around you and other members of our party, I want you to get together. The second strategy we're going to use for grassroots engagement. So when you're doing grassroots engagement, you don't want to go by yourself. Just if you're in a particular local government area and you're not quite sure whether there are other people around you that are from the party or the movement, you can reach out to us. We'll give you information about those that we know that might be in your local government area. We already have WhatsApp groups created for many of the local government areas, both on Facebook and on Facebook as well. And what we want you to do is is we want you to gather. We want you to engage, and we want you to target. So gather, whether it's 2 or 3 of you in the same neighborhood, step out, start talking to people about the movement and about how they need to make a change on Saturday, and then target. When you talk to them, get their numbers and make sure that you follow up. And then the final thing is that for those of you that are in diaspora, you don't have PVCs, but you have friends, you have relatives. So we have a program called FREE, F-R-E-E. So the FREE Nigeria program stands for Friends and Relatives Electoral Engagement. Pick up your phone and call 10 people on your phone, for those of you in diaspora. The people that you support, your friends and family, the people that, some of whom look up to you, some of whom are, your friends, some of whom you've never asked a favor of. This is not the time to be debating political ideologies. What you are asking them for, even if they are skeptical, is you are asking them for a favor. You are telling them that sending remittances back is not the way we're going to lift this country up. We want a situation where Nigeria is a place where no Nigerian wants to live. So even those in diaspora want a country that they can now actually come back to. So please, the way you're going to help us win this election is to do FREE. So your friends, your relatives, electoral engagement, pick up your phone, call them, and tell them that on the 16th of February, they should look for the third party on the ballot, 2 raised hands, the AAC, and they should be voting for Sowore. And all of the other candidates on our ticket. So remember that Saturday's election is not only about the presidential election. We're also going to be having the National Assembly elections on the same day. So after voting for Sowore as president, make sure you vote AAC. All the AAC candidates that are on your ballots, all those candidates represent our party. All those candidates believe in the same ideals that we believe in. All those candidates have been vetted. And those are candidates that we are comfortable with and confident of. So vote for Sowore for president, and then make sure that for House of Reps and Senate, if your state is one of those states where we have candidates, make sure you vote for our candidates as well.
You realize that this is a very important message, because you see other parties actually having a lot of conflicts. The incumbent government in Zamfara State could not have their own candidate, their party on the ballot. They've been to INEC in court cases and so on, and that's to tell you the level of mischief that is within them, and that's what they have spread across the country. But on our own case, we are in sync with our own ideals, with our own value system, with our own manifesto. Wherever you see us as a family. Today we are in the kitchen actually cooking for ourselves. Actually we enjoy the meals and so on. That's to show you the togetherness that is, and it has transcended from the presidency down to every state of the federation. There is nobody we didn't see today at the debate venue and here in our board. So that's what we are speaking. Meaning actually we are one and the same, not the dysfunctionality actually we see in these parties. And coming to our campaign still, we have been the most peaceful, because in other so-called big parties you see the blood. In Kano they've been talking about it, death, mayhem. In some places there are gunshots. Not a single person actually had his fingernails removed as a result of our own campaigns. And look at all the places we visited. It's quite a very rare event in Nigeria. Right. It has never happened. Not a single actually stick actually was used. All we carry is our mouth, actually our cell phones, our videos and cameras, and of course we take notes. Wherever we see people, actually we try to engage with them, we take note of their problems. And it became a testimony that the earlier research that was conducted to actually feel the pulse of Nigeria is really validated by our campaign, because wherever we go, the Spicer heat remains. Yes. And that is actually because security, people are being killed. Last week, actually, there were deaths in Zamfara State. Yes. A lot of people actually died, but the status quo, and meaning not anything was done actually to bring people to book, and that's what we kept saying. So you realize actually our party actually has Nigerians at heart. That's what we have demonstrated: decorum, decency. And when we are talking of anti-corruption, we see actually the kind of courage, the kind of actually passion. What Sowore did over the last 30 years, a lot of people, even in power, could not do it because they will end up actually being harassed or whatever, or people will end up languishing in jail. Yeah. So he came out with a brand actually that is actually dauntless, that is actually forward ever, backward never. And that's what our message is, and that's what our party members, wherever you see them, are. Yes. It's about egalitarianism, creating jobs, creating opportunities for people, the oppressed. You know. Fantastic.
Any
Yeah, for some reason you want him to speak in Hausa.
Come on.
So let me invite him to speak in Hausa. Dr. Rabiu Mutadanmu.
Yes, so you magana da Hausa.
Kai magana da Hausa. Ka gaya musu.
An ce Hausa ba dabo bace ba.
Ba dabo bace ko? To ka gaya musu. Kai magana Hausa.
Kwarai da gaske. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Yan uwana masu jin Hausa duk a inda kuke, a Najeriya ne, a Niger ne, kasashen waje ne, wanda suke Saudi Arabia ne, wanda suke kasashen Turai, ina gaida ku, ne muku fata na alkhairi. Ina so in ƙara sanar da ku jam'iyyar mu mai albarka ta African Action Congress har yanzu tana neman ƙuri'unku da taimakonku na ku sanar da ƴan uwa da abokan arziki kan cewa zaɓe ya taho. Ranar Asabar mai zuwa ita ce ranar da za a fita a kaɗa ƙuri'a ta zaben shugaban kasa da kuma 'yan majalisar kasa. Saboda haka ne muke roƙonku a fita, wato ƙonku da kwarkwatan ku fita lalle ku kada mana ƙuri'a. A jam'iyyar mu ita take da wato abin nan, wato tambarinta hoton hannu ne da ya haka da yatsu masu lafiyayyun yatsu, ba irin wanda suke da kuturta a hannunsu ba, masu nannoki hannun nan. Mu jam'iyya ce da muka zo muka yi kamfe a gaba ɗaya faɗin Najeriya, muka tafi birni da ƙauye, kusufa muna barin alƙarya da ƙauyuka da maraya, mu gaisa da mutane, mai zumunci da su, mu ci abincinsu, a tarye mu, a nuna mana soyayya da ƙauna. Saboda abin da muka zo da shi gaskiya a siyasa da ake yi a shekarun baya ba a taɓa gani ba. Sai da muka tabbatar mun san me 'yan Najeriya suke so sannan muka fito. Saboda haka murucin kan dutse ne ba mu fito ba sai da muka shirya, muka zo muka ci gaba da yada manufa cikin kwanciyar hankali da soyayya da kauna. Ba wani jini ko da kwaɗe da zaba, farce ba a cire ma mutum ba. Muka zo muka zama kan cewa ba wani ubangida ne ya tsayar da mu ba, balle nan gaba ya zo ya ce ai ga yanda zamu yi, mu kuma ga inda muka nufa.
No godfather kenan.
Babu godfather kwata-kwata. Babu mother. Mu dinnan 'yan Najeriya ne suka ce sun yadda da mu, sun yadda da al'amuran mu, suna so su saurare mu, sai isa muka fito muka tsaya. Alhamdulillah, wato shekara kwana. Yau shekara guda cirkenan da aka fara wannan tafiya ta Take It Back Movement. Ta zo ta rikide, ta cika, ta bunƙasa, ta zama jam'iyya da aka yi mata rijista a ƙasa. Sannan muka zo muka shiga zaɓe tun daga matakin dan majalisa na jiha, su dan majalisar tarayya, su gwamnoni da kuma har shugaban kasar mu, wanda a tare da mu kun sani muna tare da mutane maza da mata, zakakurai, masana, wanda suka fahimci duniya ta yanzu, suka zagaya, suka karaɗe duniya, suke da ƙwarewa da sanin makama. Shi kuma dan takarar shugaban kasar mu mutum ne zakakuri, jajirtacce. Sowore kenan. Sai da ya shekara kusan 30 a yanzu ba abin da yake irin fafutuka ta nemo wa mutane haƙƙi, ta samar wa mutane mafita, ta lalle mutanen da aka danne su ko aka hana su ci gaba lalle su fito. Sai yasa muka fito muka tsaya muka dage muka shiga kusfa muna yada manufa kuma muka samu karbuwa. A wannan lokaci ne ma inke son karewa ƴan uwa da abokai da masoya godiya bisa wato dama da suka rika bamu ta mu je garuruwan su tare mu su tsaya su ta jiran mu har sai mun zo. Wasu su kuma suka zo su suka rika bamu kobo da 100 suka bamu kobo da 100 suka bamu kuɗi suka bamu dukkan abu. Wannan ba abin da zamu ce sai dai Allah ya ƙara barin zumunci, Allah shi taimake ku, Allah shi taimaki Najeriya, Allah ya ɗaukaka Najeriya, Allah ya ɗaukaka jam'iyyar mu ta African Action Congress. Muna ƙara godiya. Jazakallahu bi khair.
AAC.
Thank you, okay. Dr. Malcolm, I want you to translate because a lot of people don't know that you understand and speak Hausa. So if you can translate all you said.
Him alone. His English is perfect.
Yes,
So-
his Hausa is fluent.
Yes.
Yes.
So what Dr. Rabiu just told us is he gave a history of the Take It Back movement. He talked about Omoyele Sowore and how he has energized the movement and how his courage, his passion, his history of engagement with the Nigerian people is something that is inspiring. And what he ended up also telling Nigerians is that on the 16th, that they should go there and look for the party of the clean hands, the party with the 10 programs, the AAC. It is the third party on the list. Uku in Hausa means third. If you don't know any Hausa, Uku means third.
Yeah, and I like my Hausa too because
Yes.
sometimes it's actually plus some Arabic words in it,
Yes.
plus some actually funkinized Hausa of
Yes.
nowadays. Because I like the language, it makes you flow, it's very interesting. It has some implied intelligence in its way and so on. And our listeners are good enough.
Funny enough, I spent 3 years at ATBU.
Yes.
From my freshman year to my third level. Shout out to all my Bauchi colleagues back
That's
then.
right, you
89 to 91.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
You know, Karutu, you know, all that stuff.
The one or two words you still remember.
But the academics back then was so tough that I couldn't really engage with the language and learn. But, you know, a couple of words or two.
It's interesting you say the academics back then because, look, it goes back to the quality of education.
Yes, absolutely.
So you went to ATBU in Bauchi.
Yep.
You went to your first your first medical degree.
Yes, in
was
Bayero
at Bayero University.
But you remember, after I was done with Bayero University, the first degree, I felt a little bit tired of the environment. I was looking for a place to do 1 year compulsory hours before you get the permanent license.
Yes.
Do you know where I ran to? Bauchi.
There we go.
Yes.
Very excellent program.
I went to the University of Lagos. All public schools.
Yes.
The quality of our public schools
Yes.
was incredible.
Absolutely.
But what type of country do we have today?
Yes.
The budget, we were talking about this the other day when you were
on education.
when you were preparing for the debate.
Yeah.
The educational budget, you guys should just think about this.
Yeah.
We've budgeted 450 billion naira for education. There are 100 million school-age children in Nigeria. You know what that means? If you take 450 billion naira, divide it by 100 million children, it means we're budgeting 4,500 naira per Nigerian child for education per year. Where can you send a child to school for 4,500 naira a year? And we're surprised that our educational system and the standards are falling. So when as a party, so again, just thinking about Spicer Heat, it's, Dr. Rabi has talked about the program, but when you look at Spicer Heat from the first one, which is security, to power, to infrastructure, to corruption, to the economy and jobs, to restructuring, to healthcare, a place that you have particular expertise and passion in, to education, agriculture, and tourism. I mean, all those areas are incredibly important, but education has just been so terribly damaged.
Exactly.
And so I'm glad ASU has called off the strike. I'm glad our students are able to go back to school. But the more critical issue is that, one of the major things, and any time we get together with Sowore himself, I don't think there's any time that the conversation doesn't now move towards education.
Absolutely.
How we need to have
Malcolm, if you were
an intervention.
The first meeting we had in Lagos, we were talking, you said, did you look into our manifesto? That was the first thing you asked.
That's right.
Yeah, and actually we were talking about education that
yes.
because it's well packaged and so on. And so on. So it has to be education because it is very important that Nigerians actually think about this sector so seriously.
You have a question from Oladunjoy Felix, and he's asking what you're going to do about mental health hospitals.
Mental health? Mm-hmm. Believe me, even the Western nations are struggling with this, and I can tell you without hesitation that there is no time in history where mental health becomes a very important issue than now. Apart from other, you could call them, diseases that are known to be of mental, organic disorders actually. You now have additional stresses from economy, from insecurity, from other vices that are around, that are adding up to the existing
burden. Post-traumatic stress for soldiers, for witnesses of killings.
Of all these actually, Boko Haram and so on and so forth. So it's adding to the toll, apart from the business as usual, actually organic psychiatric illnesses that we have on the land. So you realize also mental health actually workers.
Oh, that's
mental health specialists.
That's the director for
mental health
communications. Please come over. Come over.
Clinical psychiatrists actually are in such supply.
Yes.
And we need them actually to take care. That's why we say we are going to actually improve the training in these areas. We are going to recruit workers to work at our primary healthcare levels. At the same time, to provide incentives so that our experts in this field do not leave for greener pastures in other distant places.
So create the conditions here that keep our experts.
Absolutely.
Put more resources into the system.
Because sometimes it's easy to actually employ, but to retain people on the employment is actually the problem for many years now. Because the enabling environment is not provided, the remuneration issue, the issues also with their impact in the society and so on. So I agree with you, mental health is an issue. We have to move from the perspectives whereby we need to see, we have to see somebody really psychotic, vagrant psychosis or schizophrenia before we recognize that this is mentally ill. Actually, it's quite dysfunctional, it debilitates someone, you cannot function in your occupation. So the thing is to treat, to rehabilitate and to comfort that individual. And is very prevalent in the society.
And that's going to be part of our...
yes, absolutely. You remember in our manifesto we said that even soldiers that actually got amputated and so on, we are going to turn military hospitals actually as a supra-tertiary center for orthopedic practices. And then of course, all these is going to be a kind of comprehensive care, looking into all these PTDS, not only the soldiers but the victims, their families, because they also suffer a great deal when they have one of their family members named and so on. So that's a very valid question, and we cannot do it alone. We need Nigerians actually to support us when we come to power. We are going to address this across the country because these problems are not in only one pocket of Nigeria, but it's spread across because these stresses are all over.
There's somebody here before we wrap up. Is the stomach infrastructure issue completed?
Yeah, I think we need to swap, but I have to say this actually. At a point in time, I tried to ring him that I'm no longer his running mate. You know what? No. When he ran the marathon in Lagos, and I saw him fit and healthy, I said I wouldn't be his running mate.
you mean vice presidential candidate, but not his running mate. No, you're not going anywhere.
But I have to tell you actually, my own tech actually, I love football a lot. Yeah, of course, actually. And
do you play soccer?
Absolutely, I love it.
Really?
Believe you me, yes. In fact, to the extent that I had my anterior cruciate ligament repaired, and you know, it's
Please, in layman's terms, your interior cruciate ligament. What exactly? Where is that?
It's a very okay.
Just
there was a time in my preclinical days I wrote an article that won me an award about the knee joint. Okay, today we're talking medicine, by the way. I'm comfortable. This is the largest synovial joint in the human body.
Do you have any questions on stomach infrastructure?
But they told us that you're a terrible cook. I'm going to test your food now because you've been taking lots of the credit. He's the best marathon. He is fit. He is intelligent. He is and then the vice is less so. But no, I'm a better cook. And I'm a better player. Yeah, but you know what happened to my ligament? The so-called cruciate ligament. It crossed. This joint is the largest synovial joint in the human body. And it's a wet biara. So all your weight is almost here. And you use it to twist it, turn when you want to.
So you were trying to dribble somebody?
Absolutely. So basketballers even got the worst of it, actually. So the kind of tear I got is not for it to actually veer in this direction, but it's stretched, so it lost its tensile strength.
Wow.
So when I went to the United Kingdom, actually under the NHS as a student,
wow,
you can imagine actually, they didn't discriminate that this is a black African or a student, and so on.
So you were covered under their healthcare. It brings us to something else as well, because one of the things in Spice the Heat
is the health.
Is that for the first time under our programs, all Nigerians will be covered. So right now, of the almost 200 million Nigerians that we have, only 30 million of them are covered by healthcare under the NHIS. And I know we don't discuss a lot of this internally. Sowore and Dr. Rabiu get to talk about it maybe in debates and town halls. But it bears repeating that in our program, one of the things that we plan and we promise Nigerians is that every single Nigerian, the 170 million that are not insured, that they will be insured under a program that we call the Universal Basic Healthcare Insurance Program. Every single Nigerian. So,
and we're going to inject 400 billion in it.
Into that.
Per capita, we're going to allocate 2,000 naira for every Nigerian. And we are going to spread it across all the states of this country so that people can access services. Because sometimes there are 2 to 3 different kind of problems with access. Financial accessibility that people can't afford. Or even when they afford their care, for people actually with some chronic diseases, they go to hospital, they get certain level of care, but you create poverty as a result. So they are now back into the vicious cycle that they
don't have enough funds.
So that is to cushion the effect. And then the healthcare workers, 160,000 primary healthcare workers that we are going to employ are going to also provide geographical access. Meaning people, when they turn up to their primary healthcare, they could get the most cost-effective public health services that are available. And these are various actually simple things like immunization, maternal health, maternal and child health care, because they're intricately actually related, so that they can have medicine for their antenatal services and so on. And when you prevent this kind of diseases, actually, you allow even the state hospitals, the specialist hospital, to function better. And of course, our teaching hospital should be actually a kind of breeding ground for all the health workforce we need.
Fantastic.
And in that, actually, I'm biased. I don't call them manpower, I call them woman power, because across the globe, wherever you go, you tend to see more female in healthcare industry, because they are our nurses, they are our doctors, they are our physiotherapists, they are our lab people. And part of our pro-women agenda is actually to recruit more women to actually work in this sector, because they have a lot of benefit to our people.
Excellent.
Yes.
You want to go and test your food?
No,
we did some cooking competition and
we were complaining that I needed rest.
No, last time I ate your food, actually, even the toughest pathogenic bacteria in our hospital can't stand the soup.
Thanks, man. I mean,
it's almost midnight.
It's almost midnight, and we've had a long day today. I want to use this opportunity again to thank Dr. Malcolm and all our crew and members who are here. We're heading to Ondo tomorrow. We will be joined by a lot of people. Ondo State, we'll be in Akure starting from about 12 noon. we will be going through Akure, possibly Ondo, and some part of the southern part of the state. So if you're in Ondo State, you have no excuse. Just come out en masse and support the party of the future.
Exactly.
And victory will be delivered to your doorstep.
Absolutely.
Come February 16th, 17th, or 18th, whichever day they decide to announce the results. 17th, yes. But our results should be available by the evening of the 16th of February.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate all of you. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your donations. Keep them coming. If I had a moment, I could look into donations from GoFundMe, but someone sent something very disturbing this evening before we go, that President Buhari has called for violence against people again. I don't speak Hausa, but you guys can listen to it. What did he say?
Serious when he said he's praying for a good rainy season or agriculture, so that even if when your stomach is filled up, so that whatever nonsense or stupidity you can go, at least you now have the energy to do so.
Yeah, but this is interpreted as him calling for violence.
Actually, it's like when you're filled up, when the food is on the table and you're filled up, you can actually do shady.
Yeah, wow. That's scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's embarrassing. But
exactly.
Thank you so much for.
We want to say the opposite, actually. Exactly. 180 degrees.
So say
people should be peaceful, should conduct themselves, in the highest level of conduct when they go to the polls. There is no need for violence. It has no place in our time, not in our party, not in our system. Absolutely. Yeah. Corruption and violence and so on is what we actually hate.
We are opposed to it.
In our DNA, such are not written in any way.
Yeah. So let me announce that we have 5 donors. Just while we're here, there's $200 from Tunde Odeyemi.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Tunde. $20 from John Agaduno. This is a regular donor. It's a quick observation. We're not reading questions on social media, so I'm not sure where to post questions. Also, the number of viewers being reported is not aggregated across different social media. Between your total viewers are almost 3,000 at any given time. That's true. That's when you add YouTube. Yes. My question is, when you become president, how will you work with the other candidates with you today to further Nigeria? Between you all, you can take on the world if you work together. But how would you do so? This is also better. I think the same family, $20. I want to take my country back. This better, I got. Do you know? Yeah. There's a $50 from Florence A. And there's $40 from Rose Okoro. I'm a full-time medical student, but I really need to support AAC to take it back from one over my heart. I'm not working right now, please sir, do not mention my name. I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry, we mentioned it.
We mentioned it because it's public on GoFundMe.
I wish him lots of success in his career.
Yes, but I wish you the best.
Absolutely.
And
but look at that sacrifice.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
That's immense.
Yeah.
There's Yalex Sowore for $35. Yes. So that's the situation tonight. Thank you guys once again. Thank you, VP.
Thank you so much.
You did very well.
And I'll go and eat the food.
Yes. If you eat it, just take with you antibiotics. In case of those side of the meat that is not well cooked, I don't want you to use you for any medical experiment.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. And thanks to our lady who is in charge of this event today.
Thank you so much.
They worked so hard. Good job. Get some food. Good job.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Thanks so much.
Take it back.
Action.